Okay, Ritesh, this section I'm super interested in, and I want to ask you many questions on recruitment and team building. How do you go from being a single founder to a 5,000 person company?
Talking about recruitment, the first hire is probably the hardest and probably one of the most important. The reason is the first hire would be the first person who would be willing to leave a job or a potential opportunity that that person would have to come work with you. And once you have the first few people, the others keep multiplying because the first few are able to tell their stories about their experiences to other colleagues around yourself. So the first recruit, after I had made 100 different reach outs, none of them translated, one of the recruits actually called us in saying, I would like to connect to the chairman's office. Sahil, who was my intern, said, I don't know who the chairman is, but if you want to speak to Ritesh, he sits next to me. So the potential recruit said, yes, that's the person I want to talk to. So I speak to him. He's very qualified. So we got chatting about the business and the opportunity and what we're trying to do. I, of course, did my pitch. And at the end, he says, I want to come work for you. So he came over to meet me. And what I found fascinating is he had done his own research before he came saw us. I asked him, how did he get to know about us in the first place? He had actually searched about us from one of the articles that we had put up online about one of our blogs. So I really wanted him to come join us. So I told him, Anuj, I'm really looking forward to working with you, but I must say we still can't afford you. That's when he taught me something that I found most fascinating and is quite interesting. If you gave me ESOPs, I would be willing to earn almost 90% lesser salary. So he tried to explain me that ESOPs basically are stock options, which essentially is sort of partnership shares in the company. So I found it quite intriguing. So I went and searched about it online. I made him a proposal to give him some ESOPs. He actually proposed that this is the ESOPs I feel is good enough. We both agreed upon it. And he joined.
So when it comes to compensation and paying those people to come work with you, essentially what you did is you gave them part of your company so that they can come and work with you. And if the company grows big, both of you make it good.
It's a little bit of a risk and reward perspective, which is they take the highest risk and they get to enjoy the highest reward over time if they continue creating more value for the company.
Ritesh, when I first met him, he was 19, so very different from the mature founder that he is today. I got to meet him through a common friend, Maninder Gulati. Maninder was principal at Lightspeed and he is now the chief strategy officer at Oyo. Maninder had made the first seed stage investment into Oyo, and he called me and said that there is this great founder. He is all of 19, but Abhinav, you should go out and meet him and you will really love spending time with him.
This is back in 2012, somewhere in July. I was contemplating to actually join a very early stage startup or starting something on my own. And at that point of time, I actually saw an article on your story, if I remember correctly. The idea was at that point of time was Airbnb for India and making sure that how to connect all the consumers with the small homeowners, small home merchants and all. And that is how I was like very excited about the idea and all. And I basically just like took the phone number and called up Ritesh and found out that okay, let us meet, let us discuss and all, and that is how this whole journey started.
One of the things that stands out about him is just how full of energy he is, and as a founder, you need to be really passionate about your idea.
I think the way he actually showed the commitment, the way he actually showed the overall vision in the long term, that really inspires me.
So what do you look for when you decide, hey, I'm gonna hire this person? What are the three things that stand out that you always take a chance on a potential candidate?
That's an interesting question. A new company, when set up, has many uncertainties. And in any of those uncertainties, regardless, you have to learn, become a better person, get more subject matter expertise. A lot of those are required. Hence, industry expertise or skills are not the number one thing I look at. The number one thing I look at is attitude and hunger to make a difference. Does this person want the ability to make a difference as much as any one of us? That's the first thing I care about. Second thing I care about is people who have demonstrated in the past excellence in some form or the other. Excellence in academics, excellence in sports. That really matters to us because we feel in any place, if somebody has demonstrated excellence, that's very critical to the values of our company. We want people to pursue excellence. Mediocrity is something that just sucks a lot of energy outside of all of us. The third thing we care about is people who we can give trust to. I think earning trust is passé. The more important perspective is, can one give trust to the incoming colleague so that they can then take the trust and run with it? So these are three things that I care the most about when we're bringing in new talent. My name is Ritesh Agarwal.
Have you made mistakes in hiring before?
Let me actually first tell you what has gone right, and let me then use that to explain what has not gone right in our recruitment. I take a lot of pride in the management team and the company that we've built over time. And anybody who knows the leadership of our company will tell you that this is probably one of the most sophisticated leadership group you'll find. The reason or the secret sauce that allowed us to get here was the usage of references very, very strategically. And I got this idea in a breakfast with Peter Thiel when I asked him the same question saying, PayPal's leadership team is much accomplished and much talked about. How did you build that team? And he said, we used to do exactly this. Our recruitment, almost 90% became about, we would sit down with the people who come and ask them, who are the 10 brightest people you have ever known? We would probably go recruit 6, 7 of them. And those 6, 7, you'd go and have the same conversation saying, who are the 10 brightest people you've ever known who you think can make a difference to our company? Because now you're a co-owner, you own the ownership of this company, so you care about the success as much as we do. I have seen that this format has almost never failed.
Now, let's talk about the bad stuff. When do you make a decision to let go of someone? This must be the most difficult decision of a CEO's job.
Whenever you look back at a recruitment that did not go right, you will see things being consistent. The first is you must not have done a deep amount of reference calls early on. The second is that it is important that whoever is the potential recruit, have you been completely transparent with them about the nature of their job? And have they been completely transparent with you about the nature of their interests or their things that suck out energy from them and things that energize them? And the third is alignment on outcomes. That is, you may be looking for a missionary, but you may have received a mercenary. These are areas that you may or may not have full alignment on, which is what leads to the potential decisions eventually. But please remember to be empathetic, to make sure that you take the accountability that the decision you make should still enable them to be able to get back on the 2 feet in the future. One is letting people go. On the other hand, one thing that you'll recognize a lot more of also is when people leave you. My first intern chose to leave me to pursue a bigger opportunity. It felt like I had made a mistake. And next morning, I actually asked that to him and he said, it's not nothing to do with you. I want to be a chef and I have found a great opportunity to go to Australia and become a chef full time. And over time, I have learned to come to terms with the fact of saying that for you and your colleagues, they will always have opportunities that they want to pursue over time. If there are reasons why that you could have done better, you should learn that and you should take feedback. But at the same time, don't be too hard on yourself. Rather, actually encourage employees to sort of say that if you're moving on, we should be friends, let's work together. hopefully sometime in the future, I would love to seek your help to recommend other colleagues into the role that allows you to have more ambassadors of your company around yourself, regardless of the companies that they go to.
Okay, so now I understand how you hire. Now I understand how you fire. What I want to understand though is, how do you build a culture of, let's say, hard work, or a culture of fun, or a culture of family, whatever culture you decide to build?
The three things that matter the most are: one, the people you recruit; the second, people you promote and appreciate; the third, people you deprecate, people you think that have not done a good job and you penalize them, or you say that we are not going to promote you, or things like this. These three decisions define the culture of your company. So let me go one after the other. Culture of hard work. Are you rewarding people who do smart hard work or just hard work? Whoever you promote and recruit is invariably what your culture will become. People who have fun or bring vibes to the company, you will invariably look at recruiting the right people and encourage those people to be more successful. Everybody would want to be a person exactly like those people in the future. So I believe that's the most important thing to remember. That is, everything else is cheap talk. Culture really the rubber hits the road when you're recruiting, when you're promoting, and when you're penalizing.
Let me start by saying that the culture for a young company always has a very strong imprint of the founder. So our culture also has a very strong imprint of Ritesh. Everyone has a very clear role to play. Everyone brings their 200% to the table, and there is a reason why we call every person at Oyo an Oyopreneur. We truly believe we are entrepreneurial here and work with highest levels of ownership, and that to me has been a defining part of the experience so far. You will meet senior leaders, and almost everyone, when you talk about stories, almost everyone will have a lot of stories to talk about where they actually tried something and failed. And that, carrying that as a badge of honor, learning from that, growing from that, not making those mistakes again, is a huge part of the culture at Oyo.
I'm surrounded with a lot of good people. I don't think that I'll able to get any kind of this opportunity ever outside. I think the way we actually scaled up the whole merchant ecosystem in India, globally, the whole expansion journey, the whole China journey, the whole journey of like building townhouse from scratch. I think it has been fantastic journey. There is no doubt about it.
In summary, if you're an individual founder who has decided to be a founder, has written your pitch, has figured out the world of growth and expansion, and is making their service available, it's time you start thinking seriously about bringing a team. Bring a team by means of reaching out. Once you have that, you recruit people by the 2 or 3 perspectives that I shared. Of course, each company is different. Feel free to make your own view about it. Once you bring in people, make sure you use their help to be able to recruit new people. And remember, the culture is built with the people you recruit, the people you promote or give a bump up in compensation to, and people you penalize eventually. You do all of this well, I'm sure you'd have a very strong team who would work together to not just make your current business successful, but make many of your other businesses in the future hopefully successful.